want to come up? Come here. No? Black cat doesn't want to sit on my lap. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing great. I'm having an okay day. I'm kind of tired. I did some PT and saw a couple clients. I don't usually see 2 in a row, but this is the second time in a row that I've seen 2 in a row. This was a husband and wife. So first I wanted to apologize and explain where I've been, really. That's probably the title, the thumbnail. What do you think? Where I've been. That's a popular one. I missed 2 weeks in a row, and I'm usually much more consistent than that. But a couple weeks ago, we were in Ocean City, New Jersey, and I just didn't have the time to bank an extra video that week. So that didn't happen. And then I had a video for this past weekend, and that didn't happen. Kris and I went to the park, and I fed the ducks, and it was lovely. And we had a talk about the law of attraction. But unfortunately, my mic ran out of gas, and the conversation was basically Kris talking and then me being picked up in the distance by his mic. I was really sad about it because it was a really good conversation. I especially like when there are varying views. You know, I have no problems with a little debate, as long as it's a mutual respect, which Kris and I definitely have for each other. I will have to reschedule that conversation for another time. But in the meantime, I wanted to make sure I had something for this coming week because I'm having surgery on Friday. So if you're watching this, I will have already had surgery. And hopefully it goes well. Fingers crossed. Thank you for your well wishes in advance. I'm hoping that while you're watching this, I'm just recouping on the recliner. I have torn some things in my shoulder, like 3 different things. And I have bursitis that needs to be cleaned out because there are little spiky hooks in the bone that are tearing everything up. So at minimum, that has to be taken care of. Otherwise, I'm hoping physical therapy has repaired a lot of the damage in there. We just want preventative. So the difference will be whether I wake up in a sling or wake up in an immobilizer. Let's pray for the sling. So I don't have a big topic planned for today just because I need to get this video done, and Kris and I can't seem to get together to have that conversation again. Not yet. But I did want to share with you that when we were in Ocean City, I got a new deck Kris bought me. Now, you probably already know I have the Ayoshi cards, and that is a deck that was channeled through my own spirit guide. And it was available on Amazon for a number of years and sold privately, but I did retire them. And those are definitely my go-to, but I like other decks as well. Another one that I have used for many years is called Mahjong, and they are based on the Mahjong tile game, but they're cards, and they can be read for up to 1 year spreads. The reason I like that one is because most decks don't go past 6 months. And there's a good reason for that. There's so many free will decisions along the way that it's really hard to predict after 6 months. Because the more decisions you make from here to there, the varying your path is going to be. So that is why a lot of decks don't go beyond that. So I was doing yearly specials at the end of the year to offer clients what the next year holds. And yeah, I've stopped doing that when I got diagnosed and I got sick. And the other reason was, to be honest with you, totally honest, is I'm on disability now because of my cancer and the side effects. And I can only make so much money on top of the Social Security disability, and I don't want to risk that. So I did stop some of my online activities, like those specials. So I know a lot of people miss them, but this is where I'm at now in life. And now I have a YouTube channel. I didn't expect to be here, to be honest with you, but it's interesting how spirit moves us. I'm sure wherever you are now is not where you thought you would be 5 years ago, and maybe not where you will be in 5 years. So the visions we have for ourselves are not always the visions God has for us. In any case, I still love doing cards, and I do them for myself. I do them for friends. I do them for clients when I see people in person in Lancaster, PA, just in case you're new to the channel. And but I did want to show you this deck because I'm looking forward to checking it out a little further. It is called The Oracle of Mystical Moments. And the artwork is just fantastic. So it also comes with a little book for all of the cards. I think there are 52 cards. And there's just a very small summary for each one, which might be a little bit more difficult for beginners. And the reason I say that is because like my Ayoshi cards, for instance, the companion book for it would show different spreads you could do. And I don't mind teaching those online, but I don't have decks to sell anymore. So what can happen though is you can use other decks to actually, make your own spreads. And I think that that's what Oracle of Mystical Moments does. You can draw 1 for inspiration. You can draw 3 for, problems that you need addressing. You could draw 5 for things you need to know about a situation. The only thing that is very hard is yes or no. I think sometimes it's easier to help you with free will decisions that you have and guidance that way that will say, well, if you follow this action, then yes. If you follow that action, then no. So you always have to remember about those free will variables. Anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the art, and I'm just going to pull them this way. I'm just pulling little piles off because I don't really think you're interested in seeing all 52 at the same time. This will be a long video. And then you just go to the corresponding number on the card. Like this is called the journey, and it is someone taking a journey on, I don't know if that is a hyena. I'm not really sure, but the book would probably show, they describe what's going on in the picture. So the other thing is when you know other cards, it's kind of like when you know, and you can adapt other decks regardless of what the intention of the other deck was. You can put your knowledge into this deck. So in other words, it doesn't have to be textbook. I always tell beginners, go ahead with the textbook at first. And Kris and I did read the cards while we were on vacation. And the textbook was good, but we also just said, this is what this card means to me. So let me just pull one out, and I can ask a question about my surgery. Let's ask that. What do I need to know, or what the outcome might be? Because like I said, I'm hoping to wake up in a sling rather than a mobilizer, because it's going to depend on how extensive the surgery is. So I'm hoping for the least, because with the cancer and all the things I've been through, my body is not quite as easily to recover as it used to be. It's not as resilient. So it takes a lot longer to recover. And I'm looking at this beautiful light. You can see what has changed here is it's overcast, and then suddenly there was this little burst of a hole. So I don't have any special filters on. I think it's just really cool, to look outside right now. Okay. So let me pull a card and we'll just read it. I don't need to go with the textbook. I will read the textbook, but that's probably not what I'm going to do right now. So, all right. So, card. That's funny because this is called Oh Sunny Day. Oh Sunny Day. So, this is someone holding an umbrella, sitting on a mushroom. And I feel it's about, it's a positive card because sunny is definitely positive, and no matter what, she's got her parasol or she's ready for the rain, and it's fine because she's protected either way. And that's what this card means to me as far as my surgery, that I will be protected, and regardless of, what I wake up in, what kind of apparatus I need to deal with, that everything is going to be okay. And in life, a little rain must fall, right? But it's going to be sunny. Now, the card itself looks a little overcast, but it is right now outside too. So anyway, it's that kind of oracle deck that you can pick one card or you can pick more cards, and maybe I could even do a 6-month reading. So I would love to learn this, and while I'm recuperating, I'm going to do some reading about in the booklet and draw more cards. So while I'm not offering this for money, I'd be happy to read a few people. In you in particular, and also my Facebook group, which I haven't posted to for like ever because I really want them to come over here, which, some of you are. Let's see how we could do this. All right. In my description of the channel, there's an email address, but I will give it to you up here. It's spiritspeaks9@gmail.com. Now, if you would like, I'll do like a randomizer of some kind so that it's fair. I can probably not do all of them, but if you will send either a question or a situation you want to know about, and if it's a question, don't do too much like, is the sky blue, yes or no? I need a little bit more detail, and try not to ask a yes or no question. It doesn't mean I wouldn't read for you, but it is a little bit easier for the cards to just address a situation and an outcome rather than, just a plain yes or no card, because there's no yes or no cards in here. It's really just addressing situations in your life. And yes, it can be about someone else or you and someone else, like a relationship. And it doesn't have to be conflict either. It can be that you want to know about your child, and, you may address a concern about them, or you might just be, I'd like to know, are they happy? And, is their future looking bright, at least in the next 6 months? I would really hesitate to go beyond that. So don't ask about your 2-year-old and what college that they're going to go to. That would be a difficult one to address. So spiritspeaks9@gmail.com, and I will, just send me those questions and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. Let me give you a cutoff date because, let's see. Let me look at the calendar here. This is probably going to be, I'm going to probably put this up on Sunday, the 19th. So by the 21st, Tuesday the 21st, 2025, just in case this becomes an old video soon. I might even delete the video after the deadline, but then I will come back on subsequent videos. And if I have a lot of them, then I might pick a lot. It's just going to be depending on how I feel in my recovery. So let's try that. That would be fun. That sounds fun. I might be setting myself up for a ridiculous amount of work that I can't come through with, but just know that not everybody is going to get a reading. But I will put names in a randomizer and we'll do the best we can. All right. So yeah, this will give me some good experience with this particular deck. I love a new deck. It's fun. And I thank Kris for getting that for me. I think that decks are even better when they're gifts. All right, I'm going to close right there. I got things to do. I got dinner to make. And that's going to be one of the last dinners I'm making for a while. Then I'm just going to let my family spoil me. All right, take it easy. Bye.